This is breaking news.
It just feels like Dynamite. Maren Morris and more on writing the Wild Robots song Kiss the Sky. Though their first collaboration resulted in one of the most memorable pop crossovers of the 2010s, it had been years since singer Maren Morris had worked with the middle producers Jordan and Stefan Johnson of the Monsters and Strangerz. Not until after the latter party had been brought in by fellow hitmaker Ali Tamposi, co-writer of hits like Stronger, What Doesn't Kill You, by Kelly Clarkson, and Señorita, by Shawn Mendes and Camila Cabello, to work on original music for DreamWorks Animation's The Wild Robot. Did the Johnson brothers pitch a reunion between them and the Nashville superstar, resulting in the emotional rollercoaster ride that is Kiss the Sky. When we saw the scene for the first time, it was outside. It was in the wilderness. So the idea of it being organic and a bit finger-picking guitar just came from what we felt like the mood was, just kind of that outdoor feel, said Stefan of the Best Original Song Contender, which soundtracks a key sequence in the film where robot protagonist Rose, Lupita Nyong'o, coaches Goose Runt Brightbill to finally take flight. Maren was the first name that we all were in the room, like man, she would be so great. Her voice is just such a special voice, it's very unique. You know it as soon as she's singing. On her end, Morris said she received an email from Mike Knobloch, president of music and publishing at NBC Universal, with a kernel of the demo completed. This is the first time I've ever been involved with the film, so I didn't really know any direction or how it would go, but I definitely wanted to hear the early demo, and I loved it. I saw the synopsis of what was going on in this scene, said the singer. I had not read the Wild Robot books yet, but I think it just really resonated with me at the time and now. But at the time, my son was 2. So I was in this fresh glow still of motherhood and the scariness of it and the thrill. And I really wanted to be a part of it. And then I had worked with Stefan and Jordan before on The Middle back in 2018. Stefan added, sometimes, when you're writing a song, you imagine a voice. We were all imagining her voice, and she loved it, so it was just very special that she was into it. And then she brought so much to the table once she came on board and helped finish writing it. Kiss the Sky was written by the trio, plus Tamposi, and fellow musicians DeLacy and Michael Pollack. For Morris specifically, what made this particular songwriting process unique was the idea she was writing from the characters' perspectives this time. It's almost acting in a way, and I like that exercise of it not being totally from your background. You have to put yourself in someone else's shoes, which is a really unique task to do as an artist, because, usually, you're just writing about your own experience and feeling, she said. However, the narrative around a robot with a female voice taking on the responsibility of raising an orphaned wild animal was a parallel to my own life as a new mother and the challenge, and knowing that you're giving this advice, and you hopefully abide by it yourself, but they are their own person. They're not you. They're not anyone but themselves. So they can only use your advice to their own advantage or disadvantage, but it's ultimately their decision, said Morris. And that's such a scary thing when you're a parent. You're like this lighthouse for them. You're not in control. So that was something that I wanted to bring to the performance of this vocal. In addition to how parents relate to Kiss the Sky, the Monsters and Strangerz note that there is also an angle for which creatives can appreciate the song's message. All of us as musicians could really relate to the story of just going for it, because there's no guarantees in this life of pursuing a life in music, and you really have to just bet on faith, said Jordan. All that said, much of the song takes direct inspiration from the Wild Robot visuals that were shared with them early on. The thing that is so special about writing to the scene is that even though it was sketches, it's all laid out. So even when we're in the room, we're able to come up with lines like, I know those feet ain't made for walking, or what if the falling feels a little bit like you're flying, when Brightbill starts falling a little bit, but then he starts flying. And so the writing to a prompt aspect is very helpful, especially when you're visually looking at it, said Stefan.